Shalom, everyone, and welcome to JQD Hanukkah Hotties. My name is Carmel Tanaka, and I'm the founder and executive director of JQD Vancouver, a Jewish queer and trans nonprofit dedicated to queering Jewish space and Jewifying queer space in Vancouver, BC, on the ancestral and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. If you do not know the land on which you live, work, and play, please check out native-land.ca. The link is in the chat. For Hanukkah this year, we are being generously supported by Creating Accessible Neighborhoods, an organization that advocates for and educates about disabled people with intersecting identities. You can learn more about this fantastic organization doing amazing work at canbc.org. For each candle of the holiday, we have a Hanukkah Hottie joining us to light their Chanukia, or perhaps share another tradition and chit-chat about the wonderful things that they do in life for the duration of the candle's burning. For our third candle of Hanukkah Hotties, we are joined by Lashana Tova, aka Adam McKinney, an artist and activist living in Fort Worth, Texas, with his husband and co-conspirator, Daniel Banks. And his work sits at the intersection of performance, anthropology, history, community, liberation, healing, and technology. He is the co-director of DNA Works, an arts and service organization committed to healing through the arts and dialogue. His latest collaborative project is to acquire Fort Worth, Texas, USA's former KKK auditorium and transform it into the Fred Rouse Center and Museum for Arts and Community Healing. Tuning in from Fort Worth, Texas, let's welcome Lashana Tova.
Yo, Chag
Hi.
Sameach.
Chag Sameach to you. Oh my gosh, you look fantastic.
Thank you so much. I woke up like this.
Of course you did. Lashana Tova always looks great.
And Happy New Year, of course, Lashana Tova.
Of course, and Happy New Year to you too, for those who are tuning in who are not Hebrew speakers. Shana Tova is Happy New Year in Hebrew, and so it's a pleasure to have such a bright light with us. Would you like to open up the space and light the candles for Hanukkah?
I would love to do that with you. I think it's also important to say that I am on the unceded territories of the Wichita, Kickapoo, Seminole, Muskogee Creek peoples and Comanche peoples who were ripped from their lands by settler colonialism and from whom non-Native people now profit. I also bring into this space the spirit of Naomi Jacobson Banks, my mother-in-law, who died on this third night of Hanukkah. So I lit a Yortzeit candle and an anniversary of death candle, and I will light the Chanukiah from this light in memory of Naomi.
May her memory be a blessing.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
Amen.
So good to be with you tonight.
So good to be with you. It's really nice to share this space with you. I cannot believe we've never met in person, which is outrageous given that we've done so much programming together.
Do folks know what we've done?
I don't know if folks know what we've done. We should probably tell them.
I'd be happy to share. Um, Carmel, myself, and a group of other North American, both Canadian and USer Jewish artists of color have been organizing and bringing Jewish artists of color from North America together to share space, to build community, and to break down the barriers of isolation that we often feel as Jewish artists of color. And I don't know about your experience, Carmel, because I don't know that we've connected about this, but like thinking about the trifecta and more of identities as queer Jewish artists of color. Um, just like noticing that particular intersection and the ways in which we have to navigate the world all the time. And I'm thinking about the resource that we have as artists in particular to do that.
I have just received a "you're temporarily blocked" message from Facebook. So I need to figure out if people can still hear. Hang on 1 minute.
Let me check my Facebook.
It says it looks like you're misusing this feature by going too fast. I don't know what that means. You've been temporarily blocked from using it. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Well, it sounds like it's still going strong, so we can continue.
Sounds
Does it
good.
look like it's
Daniel, my husband is texting me right now, Dr. Banks, and he says we can hear. Maybe I'll just speak more slowly so Facebook doesn't think that we're going too fast.
too fast? Slow. Just keep it slow. You brought up something about how we have all these intersecting identities, and it's true. How do we navigate all of it? And PRISM, which is the community for Jewish artists of color that we helped to create, has really been one of the very few places that I've been able to celebrate all of my identities and not have to check a single one at the door. And it's been such an honor to build community and share that space with you. I can't wait to meet you one day and give you the biggest hug that there ever was.
Likewise. Yeah. I
Yeah.
received in the mail today a Hanukkah present. I will
Oh,
say
nice.
that in my family, I come from a family who celebrated Hanukkah and gave gifts. My father, who lives in Minneapolis, St. Paul area, shout out to the Midwest, always used to make 9 nights of Hanukkah so that we would have more opportunities to receive gifts, to eat together, to light candles together, to bring in more light. And while not traditional in Judaism, it certainly was a tradition in my family to bring in more light, to bring more love to the world, and to know that we're not alone and that we are cared for. So in the mail, when I got home from work today, I received a gift. And that
Do you
gift
want to tell us
was
what it is?
this wonderful book.
Oh my
It
gosh.
is the Oxford Handbook of Jewishness and Dance. And it's edited by Naomi Jackson, Rebecca Pappas, and Tony Shapiro Phim. Tony and Naomi edited a book called Dance, Movement, and Social Justice. Something that might not be the exact title, but it was a book that was really influential in terms of my own study of dance and social justice. And when we turn to page 256, we see an article written by Adam McKinney. And the title is Hamapa the Map, Navigating Intersections. And I thought that I would read an excerpt from
Yes,
this
yes.
book that speaks specifically to navigating those intersections. And the chapter is chapter 11, Hamapa the Map, Navigating Intersections. Wait, you're Black? I had no idea. So, how are you Jewish? I'm fine Jewish. How are you Jewish? Funny. I mean, McKinney, it's not a Jewish name. It is. I'm Jewish. Are you Jewish too? Why would you ask me that? Side eye, crickets. So, where are you from? I love Jewish genealogy. I'm from Milwaukee, East Side. Do you know the Schmutkins? They're my people. No, I mean before that. I know exactly what you mean. My mom is from Chicago, Lincolnwood. My dad's from St. Louis, Clark Avenue. No, before that. I know what you mean. I'll tell you if you tell me. My ancestors on both sides of my family were forcibly enslaved. I inherit and now own the horrific traumas they endured. I am the product of Mitzrayim. I am the product of the Mafah. I am the product of the Trail of Tears. Their marked bodies are now my marked body. I come from Turtle Island. I come from Benin. I come from Poland. I come from Nigeria. I come from Wales. I come from Ghana. I come from Lithuania. I come from Cameroon. I come from Austria-Hungary. I come from Togo. I come from Montana. I come from Mississippi. I come from Belarus. I come from Tennessee. I come from Illinois. I come from Russia, I come from Arkansas, and I come from hundreds of other places that I can't trace. I'm not half Jewish nor half Black. I am both and all and much, much more. Fascinating. Just fascinating. Raised eyebrow. I come from a family who knows how to throw down for Purim, the Jewish holiday that celebrates Jewish liberation because of Queen Esther's revolutionary activism. Gifts of shalach manas consisted of endless homemade caramel corn, delicious hamantaschen, oranges, family cartoons, and marzipan so sweet that it would make your teeth fall out. Costumes, too, were mostly homemade. One year I was the Hulk, the next a clown. I also paraded as a Hamantashen, Mr. T, King Achashverosh, the non-Jewish Persian king who chose Esther to be his wife, and Prince, the artist. I even borrowed the Michael Jackson costume from my older brother who fell ill one year. I won the costume contest and gave him the winnings. But my favorite costume was the girl. 3 years prior, my mother pinned a Queen Esther fall, a wig that was once her own braided and bunned hair, to the inside of my sister's iridescent light blue scarf that fell down the front of her right shoulder. I waited 3 angst-ridden years to wear the fall in public. The day finally came to reveal my new 3rd grade self during our Orthodox Jewish Day School's Purim parade. Principal Rabbi Dr. Parsons welcomed each class onto the stage to ask us individually about our costumes. A ferocious paddle turn twirl accompanied my self-proclamation. I tried to spot front just as Linda Carter attempted when she transformed herself into Wonder Woman, but all I could do was focus downward at how the stage lights glistened on my skirt's sequins. Before the entire school, I called out, "I am a girl!" My mother's fall fell, but my uncontrollable boy-chick twirls continued. Boychik is the Yiddish term of endearment for Ashkenazi Jewish boys and men. I play with and happily own the notion of being a boychik in both Yiddish and in English. I use boychik as an English compound word, boy and chick, to reclaim my femininity within my masculinity. I use the term to simultaneously recognize my Ashkenazi Jewishness and my adolescent gayness. I own my boychickness. My boychickness is a valid identity. I welcome you to check out this new book by Oxford University Press, the Oxford Handbook of Jewishness and Dance. I have a lot of great and close friends who authored chapters in this book, and so I was so pleased to receive this as my third night Hanukkah gift, which was so fitting for the occasion.
Amazing. Oh, such an honor to have you read for us and to read from that. And what a gift.
Thank you again.
It also must be such a great sense of accomplishment to be published and to have these words, which are very vulnerable words too, shared. And I thank you for giving us a sneak peek. So definitely go buy this book, and hopefully we can get the link and share it in the chat so people can go get their Hanukkah presents. Such goodness.
Yeah, I was so pleased to write the book chapter. It's my very first public.
Oh,
it's a big deal, and in it, I write about what it's like to dance and to dance Jewish and to dance Black and to dance Native and to dance gay. And to bring communities together to share their own stories of what it means to navigate the world simultaneous to being targeted for oppression, and the ways in which the oppressions are tied up and just really connected and really messy. And so we use the art of performance and dance performance specifically to allow communities to investigate their own histories and move in the direction of their own healing. That piece is called Hamapa, the Map, and my husband Daniel and I created the work in 2010, and for the past 4 years, we've been transposing that work into a dance on film, whereby I returned to the sites of my ancestors, the lands of my ancestors, including those places that I listed, and danced as a way to heal those spaces and their relationships to transgenerational trauma and how it's been transmitted, and use dance as a healing catalyst to bring both awareness, but also like to disconnect.
And that intergenerational cycle of trauma.
Yeah, and to disconnect our identities from traumatic histories, like, for example, like I'm not Black because my ancestors were enslaved, you know, and what must we do physically on an embodied level to heal. And so that's really what I charged myself with doing, per Daniel's direction and idea, to travel back to those places of my ancestors. And it's just been a really beautiful project. It's called Hamapa, the Map, Dance on Film. And the person who did the film work and film direction is Laura Bustillos Jaquez, who's a collaborative artist and really, really talented. Love her so much.
And when do we expect to see this beautiful performance?
Hamapa the Map Dance on Film is available for screenings. It'll be shown in the No Box Dance Film Festival next weekend here in Texas, USA. For more information about Hamapa the Map Dance on Film, you can go to our website, which is dnaworks.org. That's dnaworks.org.
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait to dive in. I haven't seen you dance aside from a little bit of movement on Zoom. So this is exciting to see more of you and all the amazing work that you're doing. Before we were doing this, I did my research and I wanted to learn more about the story of Fred Rouse. And I, one, did not know the story of his lynching and murder. We actually don't know a lot about a lot of history, as we eventually find out. It looks like some of the people also in Fort Worth, Texas, don't know this story. It reminds me in many ways of our community here, Hogan's Alley in Vancouver, formerly home to many Black families who used to work the trains, specifically porters on the train. And the community was removed from this neighborhood through gentrification and pretty much the construction of a highway, or at least a fast route into downtown Vancouver. I believe garbage pickup and water were stopped in order to encourage the displacement of the people. So while I was listening to the story of how you bring in people and share the stories of their walking tours, we're also doing that here too, trying to share our stories together on the walking tours that I do, the cross-cultural walking tours. And it's heavy work what you're doing, and I just love the fact that the walking tours, it's movement. It's getting people to move, and I think we trap a lot of trauma in our body. Our bodies do hold memory, and I'm just so happy to hear that you're able to process that through movement. And I wouldn't say that I'm a dancer. I'm for sure not a professional dancer. I'm a avid social dancer. But I'm now inspired, to do my roots trips and to figure out what form of expression I should be doing when I eventually, for the first time, go to Japan, go to Poland, and see where my people come from. Maybe that will also be movement.
Well, I hope you document your travel and your investigation. It's important, particularly for us as Jews of color, to do that work and to share our stories, so that we don't so that we don't get isolated, and we know that we're not alone. But I think that the oppressive system is such that we're told that we don't exist, and that we're really not here, and and if we are, then we don't have a right to exist. Certainly, we've been told that as Jews over thousands of years, and as people of color and as queer people, right? That narrative is very present for us. So I feel like the more we can document our stories and share them in whatever way you want, doesn't matter, the more opportunities people will have to interrupt, to provide contradictions to, and to subvert the single story narrative, and just to go back for our audiences out there, Carmel, what you referenced in terms of the 1921 racial terror lynching of Mr. Fred Rouse that occurred in the month of December. So we are coming upon the 100th year after the racial terror lynching of Mr. Fred Rouse. DNA Works produced a bike and car tour called Fort Worth Lynching Tour, honoring the memory of Mr. Fred Rouse, whereby we take people from site to site, 4 different sites associated with the racial terror lynching of Mr. Fred Rouse, and share the story in reverse so as not to re-traumatize and not to retell the story over and over and over, but how can we move in reverse to undo the history, to uncoil time and investigate it more with more nuance so that we can better be the change agents that we want to be in our communities. I think it's also important to share that we do that as an artistic practice. Daniel and I and Digital Antimedia out of Santa Fe, New Mexico, developed an augmented reality app that is used in each location. And much like Pokemon Go, the technology in Pokemon Go, and also with gaming technology, we make known the story and invite audiences to be and to embody anti-racism by swiping away and physically practicing what it means to interrupt the attacks on this particular Black person. And so
Wow.
this December, we're holding the tours again this weekend, and the work is heavy, yes, but it's actually fun. I'm having a great time interrupting racism and finding joy in that work has been, a journey. But I think particularly as artists, we I'll speak for myself. I feel like I have a responsibility to use the skills I have as an artist to not only bring people together and not only to investigate traumatic histories, but to offer um, another vantage point through which we can investigate that history and heal that history. You were talking about how our bodies hold history and trauma. I'm also thinking about how spaces hold trauma. And
100%.
and trauma theorists believe that in order to heal trauma, that we must go back to those locations and replace our old memories with new ones. And so that's exactly what we're doing with Fort Worth Lynching Tour, honoring the memory of Mr. Fred Rouse, is coming together, building capacities for healing through the values of care and remembering and advocacy and liberation.
That's so stunning. I'm very, very moved just by hearing of this one artistic decision, which I'm sure there were many involved, but this one that I feel is very poignant and I feel it viscerally is the act of going with the story in reverse. And it's completely different with my walking tours. I can't believe we haven't talked about this up until now. And like now we are, because this is outrageous.
Perfect.
Um, the gateway drug for us to start talking about the racism and the displacement of a lot of immigrant communities in this very early neighborhood of Vancouver called Strathcona. Um, we talk about like what it's been like to be a little kid over the decades and go to school at the local synagogue and learn Hebrew, or like go to church in Hogan's Alley and learn gospel prayers, and go to the Mongkyong school in Chinatown and learn Cantonese, and go to the Japanese language school and learn Japanese. This is the cute way to get people to come in, but what the tours actually are is not just a theme of education of little kiddie classrooms, but welcome to anti-oppression, anti-racism, education for you also as the people who are walking the tours with us. And we have 10 plus tour guides, each from different communities that have been impacted by racism and systemic oppression in that neighborhood. So you see the baton being passed from community to community and decade after decade of systemic oppression. and up until today in the very communities that are here on the downtown east side that are being impacted. So by the end of it, we encourage you to support the local businesses and get a steamed bao from the local Chinatown bakeries and digest essentially what you have just processed and share the amazing work that's happening today as well, in order to bring us all together, including the walks. So I'm excited. We're going to be having a new partner, 2 dancers who are, one is working on, I believe, her PhD, and they're going to be incorporating movement. And I'm just so excited to direct them to watch this video with you. I really think it's important. It's important that we get this moving because it's very stagnant history and people are not learning about it, and people learn in many different ways. Maybe speaking at people is not necessarily what's gonna, have it stick, but maybe learning movements, cultural movements, bringing it back. What a form of resilience, this act. So thank you for continuing to inspire me always.
Likewise. I'm so excited to share this moment and to learn about those walking tours a little bit. I didn't know about that at all.
I know. Oh my gosh, I love you even more.
So good.
Well, I know you wanted to share something with us.
Yeah. Stephen Sondheim died recently. He was a queer Jew. And
his memory be a blessing.
Absolutely. And, as a teenager, I was interested in musicals, and my music teacher introduced me to this song. And I didn't like it. I thought it was hard. I didn't understand it. It's a song called Being Alive. And I referenced the manner in which oppressive systems and sitting at the intersections make us feel like not only that we don't belong, that we're like we're not here, like our histories will be revised, as happens all the time. And so this song called Being Alive from Stephen Sondheim's company is almost like an anthem for me of late. It provides a really beautiful contradiction to the recordings that we have about being targeted for genocide. And so I'd like to share this anthem with you, Carmel, as maybe one of our last Hanukkah gifts. And also to all of our hotties and all of our lovelies out there on this third night of Hanukkah, as we also remember my mother-in-law, Naomi Jacobson Banks. And I share this with you with love and care. And here we go. I might take a sip of this non-alcoholic beer. I stopped drinking on January 6th, which some of you may know in the US, there was a storming of the Capitol, and I feel like the United States needs me sober, so I stopped drinking on that date.
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
It needs my thinking,
We don't see the image. Did you want to share the image?
No, I'm just going to share some sound now. I'm just getting all the bubbles out from this very gluten-filled, non-alcoholic beer. My ballet music for school. I'm a professor of dance. Somebody hold me too close. Somebody hurt me too deep. Somebody sit in my chair and ruin my sleep and make me aware of being alive. Being alive. Somebody need me too much. Somebody know me too well. Somebody pull me up short and put me through hell and give me support for being alive. Make me alive. Make me alive. Make me confused. Mock me with praise. Let me be used. Vary my days. But alone is alone, not alive. Somebody crowd me with love. Somebody force me to care. Somebody let me come through. I'll always be there, as frightened as you, to help us survive. Being alive. Being alive. Being alive.
Woo! Oh my gosh! I can now put down that Adam as Lashana Tova has just serenaded me, and there is no coming down from this cloud.
You are light and you are love. You are cared for, and we bring light, we bring joy, we bring reflection on this Hanukkah. The root word for Hanukkah is chinuch, which means education. And yeah. And this work that you are doing, Carmel, both to build relationships and capacity, and teaching, right? And making sure that we're not alone and noticing that we're alive at these intersections. Not only are we alive, but we are flourishing as queer Jews. You know, I'm thinking about Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, and his dual identities, both as a Jew and as growing up in the Pharaoh's kingdom, right? And it took this person who had a dual identity to lead the Jews out of Egypt. And so as queer Jews,
the OG walking tour.
And as queer Jews, I just welcome us to continue to lead our communities in ways that make sense for us toward liberation. And particularly on this Hanukkah, as we take in the light of the Chanukiah, the educator, that we remember our roles in society.
I think that's a wonderful way to conclude. That was beautiful, so eloquent. Many thanks to Lashana Tova, aka Adam McKinney, for joining JQD today as our third Hanukkah Hottie. Be sure to follow their work on all the socials. Many thanks to our sponsor organization, Creating Accessible Neighborhoods. You can also follow JCutie on the socials. Links are in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Happy Hanukkah. Chag Chanukah Sameach.